This is Rocket Knight Adventures for the Sega Genesis, a game in which you play as an opossum by the name of Sparkster who wields a sword and has a jetpack. So as I'm sure you can probably already tell, this is going to be pretty great. Sparkster here is going to be taking on the evil pig army led by Emperor Deviligus Devontitos. I'm going to call him the Pig King from here on out, because I'll be damned if I remember his name. So this first stage here is going to be your, usual typical grassland sort of area, but I think it's actually a really good first stage overall. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. Starting off, Sparkster has that sword, and if you press the attack button, he actually fires a projectile. If you hold the attack button, he'll charge his jetpack, allowing you to charge through enemies. It also bounces off surfaces, walls, floors, and the like, which is pretty darn useful for stuff like this. And also, if you bounce off things and, see that dismount animation? That actually gets you a lot of invincibility frames. We're not going to be looking at that just yet, but that is fairly useful to keep in mind. So as I was saying before, this is a really good starting area because I think it's a pretty good playground. We got this nice wide open area. We're starting with basic enemies. They're ballooning down, the first few jump out at us, but even if they do try to ambush us, they're really not too... Nobody saw that. But anyway, even if they try to ambush us, they're not too tough, so easy enemies to dispatch. But at the same time, you then get moments like this, or the car segment, where you get to test out your jetpack and get to easily dispatch enemies that still look rather threatening on their own, so you still feel cool even though the segment's really easy, and I can definitely appreciate that. We're just casually destroying a whole lot of mechs. That, I gotta say, is pretty great. I'm glad they considered starting you out by destroying really big things. Of course, things later on are going to be threatening, but that's a thing for later. Fruit will actually restore Sparkster's life, and, Oh no! Enemies out of nowhere! Oh no! Oh, their hitboxes didn't even appear until it was too late and I got hit. Oh, if only I were back there having an apple. Ah well, guess we have to move on to the mini-boss, who, once he goes forward, you can actually rocket past him, and then there's pretty much nothing he can actually do to you. He has two different attacks. He has that flamethrower, and he has those bouncing cannonballs. The cannonballs are definitely the more difficult attack to avoid, just because, they're bouncing in a way that might be a bit difficult to predict. But he doesn't take too many hits before he goes down. So this is it, right? Well, no, he's not dead yet. He's spinning wildly out of control, and I don't think he's even trying to hit us, but let's destroy him anyway while going down this waterfall. By the way, this is only the first mini-boss, just FYI. This is pretty easy. He'll bounce off of you once you rocket into him, so as long as you charge your rocket in time, there's really not much he can do. It is a bit hard to move around, though. This is an introduction to this sort of section where you fly on your jetpack, you got unlimited jetpack, and you just fire at enemies. This sort of segment doesn't really appear too often, but they're getting us used to it now. These enemies can't really do anything to us either. They're just sort of flying towards us, some of them slow, some of them fast, so again, like the first part of the stage, it's mostly just target practice. Which, again, I don't mind too much. It's a really good way to start off the game. Just let the player get used to things, but of course, we're not doing that too long before we get the mini-boss here. This dragon won't do too much to you, other than, jumping in and out of the water, but of course, it is fairly easy for him to hit you just because of the way he waves. If you want to sacrifice a bit of life, you can just sort of move into his body and then rapidly attack his head, and you'll do a lot of damage that way if you want, but again, that requires taking a hit. Not the worst thing, but I'd prefer not to do that. He doesn't take too many hits anyway. Of course, you can finish him up in his first little leapy segment, so that is an advantage there. Holy shit, that looked like it had to hurt. And yes, the first stage still isn't over. Bananas there are Sparkster's favorite food, and if you eat those, it'll actually fully restore your health. Sparkster is a very good role model, because he likes eating fruit. See kids, you should just be like this opossum that has a sword and a jetpack. Now, while the first part of this stage was good for getting used to the rocket pack and using it to your heart's desire, the first time I played this game, I learned the hard way... Holy shit, Thank you, hitboxes. I learned the hard way that that's not a thing you're going to want to do for the entire game. If you just spastically rocket your way around here, you're gonna get hurt a lot, or, worst case scenario, you're gonna die. Trust me, that happened to me. Even though you do have that rocket pack, you do have to platform like you would in any other game. And speaking of platforming, we have the introduction to crystals, which are a pretty good little method of guiding you along. They're going to teach you to bounce along walls like this. They're not worth anything other than points, but hey, they're a good indicator of where you need to go. Also, why do all of these pig soldiers have their butts on fire? Like, aren't they supposed to be the invaders? Like, this is the least threatening attack if they're just running through the hallways with their asses on fire. I mean, come on, guys. I don't smell bacon and immediately think, oh goddamn, we are under attack and we are gonna die. No, I think, wow, those pigs are idiots. I don't know why this scene exists in all honesty. It doesn't have anything to do with mechanics of the game or something. It's just a pig that hops victoriously when he surprises you and then you kill him. Anyway, I hope this first boss is self-explanatory because I'm actually going to shut up and let the music play. Oh, didn't even get to play all the way. See, look at that. Sparkster's all sad because the entire boss theme didn't play. But anyway, yeah, that's the boss theme of this game, and it's really, really good. Like, Genesis soundtracks can, you know, be pretty bad because the sound trip wasn't that good, but this game has a fantastic soundtrack, even if it does sound a little rough at times. Try the next area. You don't have to succeed, but at least try. Uh-oh. We have our 90s anime rival character. This is Axel Gear. We'll get to him a bit more later, but yeah, he's our rival character, and we don't like him at all, and he's kidnapping a princess because he's a jerk. He's also got an airship. The most ridiculous-looking airship on the planet. Seriously, that thing looks okay, maybe I shouldn't insult it. Okay, it was probably a bad idea to insult the ship.